I don't feel much more energetic than I did yesterday, but I'm going to go ahead with my video right here around noon. This is the video for the 20th of November, and it's entitled, "Trump's Transition Team Looks Bad." I must admit that the actual interview was better than I expected from the headline. Yes, I watched him and his family on 60 Minutes. Impressive. However, it was pointed out that his transition team is comprised of bankers, career politicians, and lobbyists. That doesn't seem like change to me. It's the same old corruption we have been seeing for years. The same affiliation with criminals that got us into the mess we have endured for a long time. Will this transition team form his cabinet? If it does, don't expect things to improve. If God does not help, and many tell me he won't, it's up to us. For me, that's a scary thought. We could end up in a civil war of some sort. Not what I want, but the handwriting is already showing up on the wall. Hopefully I am wrong, and his team will bring us real change we can actually experience, not only believe in. Indeed, I've watched at least 3 different videos where electors in the Electoral College are being threatened with death threats, obviously from the Hillary camp and even internationally from the global establishment, for electors to change their vote and vote for Hillary. Now, it's interesting because some say that Hillary is dead, that when we saw her virtually collapse and then be held up by the man or men behind her when she was getting into her car. I don't remember what city that was in, but in any case, some say she actually died, and the only thing left is one of her body doubles. And we know from pictures that we've seen of Hillary that she seems to be very old in some of them, and maybe 15 or 20 years younger in other pictures. So we don't even know if the real Hillary is still alive, quite honestly. We don't know. I don't know. Maybe you do. But in any case, I was a little bit dumbfounded when they had people on Trump's transition team that are part of what was the name of the bank? I should have written that down, but I didn't. That big bank that controls everything from Wall Street. God, I don't remember. Anyway, there were people on his transition team, and he says, "Well, they're the only ones that I have to choose from," because that was one of the questions that was asked of him in the 60-minute interview. Why? You were supposed to be against the insiders, and yet you've got insiders forming your transition team. And if he says these are the only ones that I have to choose from, what's it going to be when he actually has to put his cabinet in place? Now, he's made lots of promises. I mean, I'd like to see some of things that he promised actually come to pass. The Republicans are in charge of the whole thing. Are they going to be the party that they were created to be by Abraham Lincoln, who actually wanted to do good things? And one of the things that he did is he started printing greenbacks, which was money that was not borrowed from the central bankers in Europe, which, of course, the central bankers in Europe didn't want that, and so they had Abraham Lincoln killed. And the greenbacks went back to fiat currency, even though at that time it was still gold-backed, but it was backed by the bankers. The international bankers were the ones that were ruling the roost. And of course, they got rid of the gold standard back a long time ago under Roosevelt. And then more recently under Nixon, they got rid of the silver standard. So we end up with a fiat currency that's backed by nothing at all of any substantial value. Gold and silver hold their value, and they've been it maintains its value. All it changes is the value of the paper money, which you use to supposedly buy the gold and the silver. But I'm still not convinced of the political party and the election at all, the political parties and the election at all, because they have both been playing, Republicans and Democrats alike, have both been playing against the American people and following the orders of an elite establishment whose design and desire is to create a one world government where the people have no say, where the people that are allowed to be alive are the brainwashed few compared to the many that they want to eliminate, according to the Georgia Guidestones, and reduce the population of the world to a manageable 500 million people, getting rid of, as I've said before, a significant number of people. I don't know what's going to happen. We are definitely in a time of transition. And I have looked forward to that transition for a long time. For me, it's the transition from the demonic kingdom of darkness run by Lucifer and his demons and whatever you want to call, whatever name you want to put on the evil cabal, the Rothschilds, the Jesuits, the Zionists. I mean, there's all sorts of people that are collaborating with each other, not always in a very friendly way, but nevertheless some level of collaboration to create a government in which people are not free, which people are indentured servants, slaves, and controlled by a few, the many controlled by the few. That I don't want to be part of that world anymore. I mean, I'm done with that world. I'm fed up to here with it, and it needs to go. I want a world where people are equal, regardless of race, color, religion, nationality, gender, all of the things that are used to divide us from one another. Those things are seen not to make a hill of beans difference. And yet, in our corrupted world where war is the food of the elite, that's what they get their power, they get their sustenance from draining the energy of the population. And they use that energy for themselves as food to keep themselves alive, some say. Now, of course, we're talking now about demons, that people that aren't on the human level. But I'm not sure that some of the people that are on the human level aren't demons themselves. And I've somehow figured out a way to manifest a physical body. We've seen transformation of the Queen and others where they literally, their face changes, and you can see the change in their eyes and in their countenance. It just shifts. And we've watched videos of that, at least I have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So if Trump surrounds himself with the same kind of people that have been making all the bad decisions and guiding in all the wrong directions for such a long time, we're not going to have any significant change. And I still believe that the only significant change can come when the corporation is forced out of business, so to speak. Literally, all multinational corporations need to be forced out of business. And you can have local companies that serve the local population, but everything needs to be done at the local level, not on a global level. When it's done at a global level, it's about control. When it's done on a local level, it's about involvement. And we need a government that involves the people where the people live, and where people live, that's where the decisions on how things are to be need to be made. They are not to be top down, but bottom up. And that's the kind of system that I'd like to see empowered and put in place globally. And from that, we can develop the kingdom of heaven on earth, because people will be treated with respect and not controlled as chattel. Thank you for listening, and namaste.